It is Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by Factor. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Producer Dan is along for the ride as well. Where are the quarterbacks? I thought the quarterbacks were supposed to be here.
I have the whole house to myself right now. Doing this work, they took the kids off onto an excursion with all the wives. So it's just me in this house. Lord knows, Chris, we're going to work here for about an hour, hour and a half, you and I.
Yeah.
Lord knows what's going to happen after I'm done working. I don't know. There's so many possibilities.
Oh, okay.
No, realistically, I'm going to clean up and probably have food ready for them when they get home because I'm a good guy.
Well, you know what? If you're looking for something to prepare, why don't you bring in Factor? Because Baseball Today is presented to you by Factor. Eating better, it's never been easier thanks to Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. They're fresh. They're never frozen meals. They are chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. They also provide Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. So head on over to factormeals.com/baseball50. If you use that code baseball50, you're going to get 50% off. Once again, that is the code baseball50 at factormeals.com. Hey, guess what? Scott Boras' belly might not be full, but at least all of his players are officially off the market. Jordan Montgomery, the last one to sign, he gets a 1-year, $25 million deal to join the defending National League champion Arizona Diamondbacks. It could turn into 2 years, 50 with a vesting option. Heck, if he makes 10 starts this year, he just gets another 20 mil on top of that. And, oh, by the way, he can opt out after 1 year. So there were reports from Jim Bowden and The Athletic that Montgomery was not only going to sign this week, which he got right, but sign a lengthy deal because there were several teams involved. How surprised are you that he got this short deal a la Blake Snell?
I guess I'm not that shocked because we've seen what's happened and transpired over the offseason, but like in a vacuum, I'm absolutely shocked that this is what this guy has had to settle for, especially because what his teammate got earlier in the offseason. Eduardo Rodriguez gets 4 years, 80. Jordan Montgomery, with probably a better track record, gets 1 year, 25. The vesting stuff, don't even count that, Chris. It's not 10 starts and he gets 20 million on top. That's 10 starts and he gets to choose if he wants to pitch for the Diamondbacks next year at $20 million, which he should not do. Like, this is, I don't really understand kind of what's happened this offseason. It's a great deal for the Snakes. I think all of a sudden they got a legit 5-man rotation, which was unfathomable just last year, but they got 5 guys who they can really count on. And for Montgomery, it's disappointing. I think you go around, poll what's happened with Boras guys, and they'll say the exact same thing over and over again. It's disappointing. I'll point to Jung-Hoo Lee signing a 6-year, $118 million with the Giants, and Matt Chapman, proven big leaguer, signs basically a 1-year deal worth less money. Like, it's hard not to look at what's gone on and wonder, like, is this really like sticking it to Boras? Because I will say this. Mm-hmm. You've mentioned this with Blake Snell, like a lot of the other guys, like Chapman and also Bellinger, Snell, there are things that you can point to.
Yep.
You can't do that with Jordan Montgomery. There was no qualifying offer. There was, nothing wrong with this guy coming into this season, and you're settling for essentially a 1-year deal. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, yes, this is the one that I haven't understood. The other ones have varying degrees of warts, right? With Blake Snell, yes, you have the 2 Cy Young years, but then you got the 4 years where he didn't pitch over 130 innings in any of those seasons. Cody Bellinger had an amazing bounce-back season, still only in his late 20s, but you wonder, am I going to pay $150 or $200 million for which Cody Bellinger? Matt Chapman, obviously one of the best defensive third basemen in the league, still a solid bat at third, but this sport is littered with outstanding third basemen. So all of those I could understand to a degree. Jordan Montgomery, this is the one I did not understand one bit. An ascending player, a healthy body that pitches every 5 days, a guy that has been on the move in each of the last 2 deadlines. It hasn't bothered him. And, oh, by the way, last year he was a magician in the postseason to help the Rangers win their first ring ever. What are you looking for? Like, why did Aaron Nola get over $170 million and this guy got a 1 year for 25? I really did not believe. You can talk about Scott Boras all you want. I think he's really good for his clients. Is he a mess sometimes for the baseball world? Sure. And I get that. I understand why fans don't like him. I understand why some teams don't like dealing with him. But his track record is what his track record is, and it has been outstanding throughout his career. Do I really believe that the sport is conspiring against his clients? I have a hard time. Oh, you're looking at me, so you do. Do you really think they are?
I mean, like we just said, you can point to contracts all throughout this offseason that were like legit, regular, what we expect contracts. Even guys who never have stepped field on a freaking Major League Baseball field before. We had several of those. Okay. You're talking about the reigning Cy Young winner. You're talking about a guy in Matt Chapman that consistently puts up over 3.5 WAR. You're talking about, just those two guys specifically. Cody Bellinger coming off, one of the better years of his career. Everybody in Chicago clamoring for this guy to be back because he helped their team so much last year. How could you not look around the league and see all the other regular contracts and then look specifically at the Boras guys and what they've had to settle for and think like, I don't know, man. Like to me, it would be silly for my mind not to go there a little bit. Like just think logically.
I know, but think about what you're suggesting, that teams would sabotage the possibility.
Chris, we've talked about this before. Collusion has happened. It's been proven before in Major League Baseball.
But this is different, Trevor. This isn't that they didn't want to give out money. They gave out money to Yamamoto and Jung-Ho Lee and Aaron Nola. This is totally different. You're talking about conspiring against a group of players based on who their representative is. Think of how utterly preposterous that is. Shame on teams like the Baltimore Orioles and even the Texas Rangers on not bringing in a Jordan Montgomery, a guy who could be the difference maker between lifting the commissioner's trophy or not. That's to me something I don't get at all.
I'm not patting these organizations on the back, Chris. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together here. Like, I'm not saying that they should be doing this or that they necessarily 100% did this. I'm just saying, like, look at the situation and like, what other conclusion can you come to?
Well,
give me one reasonable conclusion. Seriously.
I really don't. And I think it really kind of scares the hell out of me. Some fans are like, yeah, well, stick it to Boras and stick it to those blah, blah, blah. Listen, we as baseball fans, we would love it if our teams put the best product on the field. We understand there are financial restrictions with some clubs. That's fine. Some, I think, are playing it up in the media much more so than it is in reality. But at the end of the day, if you feel good about Jordan Montgomery that he only got $25 million, there are probably 10 to 12 other teams that should have signed him if we're talking about for this amount of money. I mean, that's ridiculous. If I had rooted for a team that was definitely in contention and they didn't go out and get him and this is the deal he ends up taking, I'd be pissed at my team. I wouldn't be like, Scott Boras' client. I want to throw my shade at my club.
Chris, how many times have we said that this offseason? Every single time one of his players signed, we said, why didn't every single team offer this deal? Why didn't every single team go out and do this? Here's the thing. All those guys, was it 5 of them, including JD Martinez, they're all going to be free agents again next year. And go look at his roster coming out next year. It's Soto, it's Corbin Burns. Like, some of the biggest names in the sport are free agents next year. Alex Bregman, is he with Boras? I'm not sure. But he's got another stable of guys coming out. And I said this on Talking Baseball. I'm not advocating for this to happen whatsoever. I don't have any personal vendetta or anything against Scott Boras. In fact, he's been very nice to me. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't surprise me if a couple guys changed agencies this year.
That'll be interesting. AJ Santiago in the chat says it's not like these guys didn't get offers. Boras Corp declined those initial offers, and those teams opted to go another direction, and the teams that had needs dried up.
We're not sure of that, though. Like, that's just reports.
Right. So we're not 100% sure, right? We heard that Blake Snell got the 6-year, $160 million offer or whatever from the Yankees. We don't know exactly what's truthful and what's not. unfortunately, as baseball fans, we've had to dig through a lot of reports and what's true and what's not as of late. So it is a good point that there are possible 9-figure offers on the table for guys, right? The Matt Chapman.
So then where do they go? That's the thing. You have these offers and they just magically disappear. Why? And you're talking about the Yankees who, before when they made that offer, now they got Garrett Cole and they're not sure what's going to happen. I don't know if that offer was ever real.
Yeah, we don't. But, with the Matt Chapman, there was the $150 million offer when he was still kind of an
A's
player, right? And things changed in the 5 years since that offer or whatever. And then even a 9-figure deal in the offseason, we had heard from the Blue Jays. They really never filled his role, if you will.
Yeah.
At third base. Justin Turner's going to play some there, and they're going to poke around a little bit. But they could have had him for not. You're right. Where did the money go is certainly a big question. In the meantime, Mr. Hazen, you did a bang-up job this offseason. You're Arizona.
No kidding, dude. How about the NL West, Chris?
I know.
The NL West just took advantage of the Boris freeze-out.
Well, look at all the pitching that has joined this division, right? Between Arizona with a couple of new starters, the Giants with adding Blake Snell, Robbie Ray,
Jordan Hicks.
Who's
had a great spring training. Holy crap.
Right. The Dodgers, obviously, a lot of questions in their rotation, but very interesting and very talented. And then Rockies, will see you somewhere down the line. Cincinnati Reds. Bad news. Found out that their starting second baseman, Matt McLain, will not be their starting second baseman anytime in the near future. Shoulder surgery. They are hopeful they will have him back at some point this year. So you couple that with TJ Friedl being out for a while. So they're out with their starting center fielder. And Noelvi Marte being suspended the first 80 games for a PED suspension. This was one of the teams where we're like, oh, cute little guys. They could make some noise. Is the shine already off of Cincinnati before the season even starts?
I mean, it's not a great start to the season, but here's the thing. Like, they stockpiled infield depth, and we were wondering, what the heck are they doing? Why are they signing guys? Why are guys signing there when there's so much infield depth? And here we are about to start the season, and that depth is already paying off. Because if you go around, even with McLean out, you still have Candelario at third base. You got Ellie De La Cruz at shortstop, Jonathan India back at second base, Encarnacion Strand at first base. Like, you still have like a banger of an infield, and you lost two really good players from that crop, but because you had depth, you're still there. Even, in the outfield, like Will Benson and Spencer Steer, like, that's a nice little corner outfield there. So, like, they still have a good shot. Now, if you're a Reds fan, are you upset that this is happening and you lost some of your depth? And, McLean was a hell of a player last year. Yeah, it stings, but I think you have to take solace and, like, be really stoked that the front office, I don't know if they had the foresight for this or they just lucked into it, but, like, you're still okay. Like, this isn't, even if he's out the entire year, sucks, but you're still going to be okay as an organization and as a Major League Baseball team because you have this depth. So as grim as the news is, I think as a Reds fan, you're like, okay, like, our season isn't over.
Oh, no, it's definitely not over. Now, did they get fortunate they didn't deal India in the offseason? Yeah, that's a big-time deal for them. Santiago Espinal just came over in a trade. That's going to help them with some depth. I think they're really going to miss McLean. He was a guy who we really didn't talk about a ton last year, but he felt like the unheralded spark plug of this team. And I think they're going to miss him the most out of those guys. I really do. And no, it's not over because I think this is a fascinating division. I think that any one of four teams can win it. And I think even the Pirates will be significantly more watchable. I think the Reds have to be very careful this year not to hug all of these young players. And what I mean by that is they're going to be teams that could help them out at the trade deadline. And Nick Krall is going to have to listen very closely. Like, he might have to give up one or two of these guys that they love dearly and they want to hang on to them forever. But, man, what, you're not in on that?
It makes it tough now that the depth is already in play. Like, if this depth was what it was, a couple weeks ago, then I'm 100% on board. I think we called that already. Like, yeah, middle of the season, somebody's got to go. But now, like, McLean's out for the year. I mean, Marte coming back, he'll be back at the halfway point. So I guess there's still some room there. But I'd agree. Like I don't think this is a finished product, and it definitely should not be a finished product. Like where you're at as an organization and where you're at with this roster, like yes, they need to go be aggressive at the trade deadline.
All right, I'm not going to ask, hey, does this cost the Reds a playoff spot? Because as you can see on our rundown coming up in just a few minutes, we will give our playoff predictions and see whether or not that has affected our call in the National League Central or the National League Wild Card. In the meantime, you know what? You're always looking to improve yourself, whether it's on the baseball diamond or elsewhere. And guys, that means in the bedroom as well, right? If you need some help, you raise your hand, you say, yes, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with going and getting help. Now, the issue is sometimes that over-the-counter erection pills contain unregulated chemicals. They suggest unsafe doses. They include the risk of several other health problems as well. That's why we have partnered with our friends over at Joy Mode. So whether you're looking to spice up your intimate moments or increase your confidence in the bedroom, Joy Mode makes all natural and science-backed supplements dedicated to helping men perform better. And who the heck doesn't want to perform better? For God's sakes, if I opened that door and asked Michelle, you want me to perform better? She would say, hell yeah. Go get yourself some Joy Mode. Their trademark product, the Sexual Performance Booster, is every man's solution for increased blood flow, firmness, stamina, and performance. Think of it as pre-workout, but for sex. It comes in a palm-sized packet like your favorite electrolyte powder. All you have to do is mix 6 to 8 ounces of water 45 minutes before sexual activity and watch the magic unfold. So redefine your intimacy. Go to usejoymode.com/today. You're going to get 20% off with the code today at checkout. That is 20% off and free shipping with the code today at usejoymode.com/today. Great sex solved naturally. Go ahead, caller.
I've said this once. I'll say it again. As soon as my game starts slipping in that department, I have no shame. I will be all about this. So if there's a stigma out there and you're thinking, I don't know if I need it or not, you need it.
Yeah. And by the way, your partner is going to appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
At you. I mean, holy smokes. We always talk on this show about what's being a good teammate. This is being a good teammate.
Yeah.
Go.
Be honest with yourself.
Now let's go to the award winners.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, boy, we nailed this last year. We nailed this one. Didn't we both pick Alek Manoah to win the AL Cy Young Award?
I don't know. I'd like to see the graphic, but I think we both did, yeah.
So here we're going to alternate. We're going to start with Rookie of the Year in the National League. So you go, and then I'll go.
Okay, in the National League, I'm going to go with a guy that's a little bit older. I'm going to go with Shota Imanaga for the Cubs. If they're in the hunt at all this year, he'll be a major part of it. And a lot of the reports out of spring training are that he's got like great stuff, and people are super impressed with him. And if it does come to fruition, like it's going to be one of the steals of the offseason. So I'm just in on. I'm in on him, and I'm in on if the Cubs are in the hunt, like he's going to be a massive reason why, and voters love that kind of stuff.
Guess who I picked? Shota Imanaga.
Yes.
19 strikeouts in less than 10 innings worked throughout spring training. They've been working on him with his fastball usage, where to use it, how to use it, because it's very different over here than where he came from. I'm a big believer in him. For one, I always feel funny picking guys who have pitched over in Japan or elsewhere for 6 or 7 years at the highest level of baseball. I don't always think it's fair, but whatever, I'm doing it. So there you go. American League Rookie of the Year is who?
American League Rookie of the Year. Now, this one's a little controversial because he's not starting with the team, and I know there's a couple guys in Texas and Carter and Langford that are going to be studs, but I think maybe they kind of cancel each other out. So I'm going to go Jackson Holiday. I don't think he's going to be in the minor leagues too long. And I also think, like I said before, the voters love a story like this whole Holiday family. Like he's got it in spades. Like they're already focusing on him. And I think you kind of need that because you need to be, number one, he's going to be on a good team that's going to be in the playoffs. And number two, he just kind of has that it factor. So I know he's not starting with the team, and that hurts a little bit. But I think that by the end of the season, we're going to be like, holy shit, Jackson Holiday's a fucking problem.
Yeah, I am going to go with one of the guys in Texas, but it's not going to be Wyatt Langford because I think all the press is going to be on him. Evan Carter is just going to be quietly go about his business, right? I mean,
Love me some Evan Carter.
yeah, I talked about him a little bit earlier when Jolly was on the show, and thinking that he is a guy who's primed for an extension even before the season starts. I know I'm running out of time, but I thought it'd be great. You know, you're talking about a guy who's in his early 20s, got a taste of it at the end of the regular season, and then lit it up in the playoffs. So regular season OPS last year in less than 80 plate appearances of a $1. And then in the playoffs, when you're facing all these tough arms, still an OPS over 900. Dude's no joke.
He's a stud, Chris.
I think he'll be able to handle it. Okay, let's move to National League Cy Young Award winner.
Okay, I am going to go with a guy that has a proven track record. Second last year in the NL, Logan Webb. I'm all in on like the Matt Chapman, Logan Webb tandem. I think it might be overplayed a little bit, but I think it's the confidence that he'll have is only going to grow with Chapman there, man in the hot corner, excuse me. And then also Blake Snell being there and kind of like pushing him for like, who's the ace? Like, who's the real guy here? You know, like I think there's something about that internal competition, and it's healthy. It's not like it's a bad thing. I think that's going to drive his games to the next level. So he's kind of like been there, done that already, and I'm going to pick him to win it this year.
Okay, follow me here. Who is a left-hander?
Yep,
that's going to be a free agent.
Okay,
that might have had a little bit of an injury problem in recent time, but is freaking nasty when he's on the mound.
Tell me.
I might be wearing his hat.
Oh, Max, my guy.
Max,
that's a good one. It's a dang good one.
He's going to follow just like Blake Snell, except he ain't going to be signing a 2-year deal for $60+ million in the offseason. That guy's going to get way more. One of the best competitors out there. Only 14 starts a season ago, but his game has been incredible over the last 4 years when he's been available. Outstanding athlete. I think he's going to live up to it. Everybody's focused on Chris Sale down there, and with good reason, and Spencer Strider, who was unhittable in spring training. I think Max Fried's going to shock everybody. I think
we both got it wrong. Like Spencer Strider's going to win this Cy Young, but we just didn't want to pick him. We're trying to be cool.
Well, we picked him last year, I think, and he didn't. So we'll see.
Okay.
AL Cy Young Award winner is.
I think this one, I don't know if this is a popular pick or not, but I'm going to go Luis Castillo. I think, again, a little added motivation. He gets motivated by all the young guys around him. I don't want to give too much into my like playoff predictions, but I think the Mariners are going to do really well this year. And like he's going to be obviously a big part of that as their ace. So I got Luis Castillo just taking it to the next level, over 200 innings pitched. Like just kind of like going off this year. He's such a stud, dude. I love watching the guy pitch. Probably one of my favorite guys to watch pitch in all of the big leagues. I think it all comes together this year for him. I think he was Cy Young like 5 or 6 last year. He's my guy.
I got a shocker for you. Tariq Skubal. I know some people have been talking
about it.
And they expect the Tigers to be significantly better. Made only 15 starts last year. Didn't debut until July because of injury. But his Ks per 9 ranked 5th in the league from the time he showed up to the end of the year. He was 6th in the ERA. He was 1st and 5th. He's also going to be the first. This is incredible. I couldn't believe this when I read. I had to read it like 6 times to make sure it was accurate. He's the first homegrown Tiger to start the season opener since Justin Verlander in 2008.
Who started the rest of the home? Oh, there it is again.
Who's here?
I have no idea. Who started? I mean, like what? Who started in 2012 and 13 when I was facing all those guys?
I mean, it might have been Scherzer.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, might have. Who knows? There were years where Verlander, I don't think, was healthy out of the gate, but somebody can double check me on that. But whatever. All right, so I'm going to go with him. Could be fun. Finally, National League MVP.
This one's like almost a no-brainer to me. I am going to go with Mookie. Like, it's not talked enough about what he's doing right now. He's fucking playing shortstop. Chris, this guy was playing the big leagues for 10 years as an outfielder. Goes to second base, a little bit of shortstop last year. Now he's a full-time shortstop for, one of, if not the best team in the big leagues. Like, he should win. He should win. MVP. If he just goes out and puts up his regular offensive numbers, the fact that he's able to switch positions and play shortstop, he should just win the award. I don't care what anybody else does. Like, it's absolutely nuts. And I hope by the end of this season, more people are like what Shohei does is awesome. We get it. He hits and he pitches. What Mookie is doing right now, I'm not saying it's on that level, but it's of that ilk, see, Rosie. To be able to play that position after not playing the infield for 10 plus years is absolutely crazy. So I'm going Mookie NL MVP.
It's a good call there. All right. So Ronald Acuna, the defending winner of that, I'm a little worried about his leg issues to start out with. And unless he gets to 40-70, it's just natural for people to be like, well, okay, you went 40 and 50 this year. Like, that's cool, but you had a down year. Like, that's stupid. Shohei's not pitching. So unless he goes like 60-30,
he's not winning it.
Mookie, I think playing shortstop's going to wear on him a little bit. I really do. And I don't know if his numbers are going to be down, but so I'm going to go with the
You're
guy
betting against Mookie. That's crazy.
I'm going to go with Freddie Freeman. Why not? His 2 years in LA, he's finished 3rd and 4th in the MVP voting. He almost became the first player since 1936 to have 60 doubles in a year. I think his game sometimes goes underappreciated because he's just so remarkably consistent. So I'm going to go with him. AL MVP is going to be.
I had a little bit of fun with this one. I think I've heard some people talk about it. I think we're going to get a full year of Mike Trout, and he's going to remind everybody who the hell Mike Trout is. I really believe it. And I even think what is this picture of me? What are we doing here, people?
That's a great picture of you.
Nobody has good pictures of me anywhere. Okay, whatever. I think Mike Trout will use Shohei being gone as added motivation. I actually think the lineup is better than people are giving it credit for. I just think that this guy is so disrespected as of late because he's had a few seasons where he hasn't played a full season. Let this guy play 150 games and watch what happens. I think he's going to win the MVP this year.
Let me tell you something. Out of the 6 categories that you chose, to me, that would be the most shocking of the 6 if he won the MVP.
Sure.
I like it. I'm going with Julio Rodriguez. You heard me give my spiel about the Seattle Mariners. That's a great picture. That's
a nice picture,
by the way. Good job, Danny Rourke. So Julio, last year, first half was not great. In fact, I think that if the All-Star game had not been in Seattle, he wouldn't have been added to that roster for the All-Star game. Second half, really good. 19 homers in 68 games, an OPS of nearly 950. He's talked about how he needs to get better. It's not like, hey, you know what? I finished up well. I need to get better. I love hearing that out of studs that are 23 years old. I'm on that. So there you go. All right, time for us to give our division champs and our wild cards. So let's just run through them, and you can give me the most interesting of your 6 picks if you want. So let's start.
I got to pull it up here. I thought I had it somewhere. Hold on.
Okay.
Where are we starting? I'm ready.
Dan, where do you want us to start? National League or American League? You tell us.
There's graphics.
Andrew Allen, great job on the graphics today. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to start in the American League. So give me your American League playoff predictions.
Winning the American League West, kind of backing off what you just said about Julio Rodriguez and my guy Luis Castillo, I'm going with the Mariners winning the West this year. I think they're at a turning point where they need to go. AL East, I'm banking on Garrett Cole being as healthy as the reports have been. So I'm going to take the Yankees in the AL East. AL Central, I'm taking the Twins. And then my wild card teams are the Rays. Oh, wait, I think I changed them. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Rays are out. I had the Rays initially, then I said I'm out on them. I have the Orioles, the Rangers, and the Astros as my wild card teams.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see here. East, Orioles, Central, Tigers.
I knew you were going to go. That's such BS.
I know. I can't believe I'm doing it. And the West, the Astros. I really had to figure out on the wild card. I really worked hard at this. I don't have the champs in there. I don't have the Rays. I've got the Jays, the Mariners, and the Yankees as my 3 wild card teams. Could you imagine all those teams playing on the road in the playoffs? God, that'd be fascinating. Well, not all of them will play on the road, but you get it. All right, National League. Give it to me.
National League West, Dodgers. I don't think that's a shocker to anybody there. National League East, I am going to go with the Braves. And National League Central, I have one team making the playoffs, and it's the Cardinals. I'm a sucker for it. I think there's going to be a massive bounce back year. I know a lot of people are still iffy about their pitching. I think they're going to get it done this year. I don't think the Cubs or the Reds are as good as everyone's fucking making them out to be. That'll get clipped, I'm sure. And my wild card, the Phillies are going to be there. And then with the offseason additions, the Giants and the Diamondbacks are going to make 3 teams out of the West on both sides are going to make the playoffs, AL and NL.
You and I have only one team different out of the 6. I've got Braves. I've got Dodgers. I do have the Reds. I know you think that they're not as good. And obviously the Matt McClain news is a bummer. But I'm riding with the young kids. I think they're a really fun team to watch. Wild card, Phillies, Diamondbacks, Giants. I will say this. I didn't have the Diamondbacks in there.
Me either. I had to text. I actually had the Cubs in. And I said with Montgomery, like, they have to be in. Like, I just like that. I like what they're doing there.
You know who I had? You know who I bounced?
Who?
The Mets.
Okay. I don't hate that.
I bounced
Mets are getting like dismissed already, and that's silly to me.
What's your World Series matchup?
My World Series matchup is a rematch of 2022, but this time the Phillies beat the Astros. So I'm taking Phillies over the Astros in the World Series.
Wow, there it is. Still don't like your picture. I mean,
it's a good pick, but like all my picks are just weird these days. What's going on?
My World Series matchup is also a rematch, but from 1992. And this time, these guys, the Atlanta Braves, are beating the Toronto Blue Jays. Damn it, I am going to keep picking the Blue Jays until this shit works. I think it's the 3rd straight year I've done it. I'm telling you, at some point, like I'm going to be 83 years old. I'm going to be drooling. I'm going to be wearing 6 diapers to work. But damn it, if they haven't won it by then, in 30 years, I'm still going to be picking them to win. Don't disappoint me.
I like the Jays, but I think you're going to be waiting quite some time, Zero. I like the Atlanta pick too. I think they're a juggernaut, man. You had a question up earlier before we Montgomery news and the McClain news, and you asked what the biggest storyline was going to be this year. And my answer was going to be the juggernauts. Like we have in this league right now, teams that are going to either establish a dynasty or they're just kind of going to be forgotten. But they all have a chance to do it. The Braves could establish their dynasty. The Dodgers could establish their dynasty. The Astros can continue their dynasty. I think I'm giving them the dynasty name. And then the team like the Phillies or, the Rangers, like, could they start something? There's juggernaut teams in this league this year, and I think we're going to get juggernaut matchups.
Well, you know what? And it's probably a good discussion to have somewhere else down the line is, do we have to change the definition of a baseball dynasty? I think it's a good question. And it's one we'll have somewhere down the road. But I like where you're headed, Zach. No
Matthew
question.
Stafford, I asked him the question this morning, and he said that he believes the Braves were a dynasty.
Ooh.
That's pretty controversial.
Wait, we're a dynasty meaning in the 90s when they won?
Yes.
Made won 13 straight division titles or whatever it was?
Yes. And I know that's a polarizing, topic. Like, yeah.
It is. Oh, good one. I love hearing Matt. When can Matthew Stafford chime in more frequently on this show? I mean, come on.
Whenever you need him to. He's going to come on Football Today.
Hell yes, he is. I love that. I love that. Hey, once again, this show is presented to you by our friends over at Factor. Eating better has never been easier thanks to Factor's ready-to-eat meals. They're always fresh. They're never frozen. They are chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. You take that fork you got, you poke a couple holes, you set the microwave for 2 minutes and 3 seconds, and off you go. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from each and every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Plus, there's 60 add-ons to help you fueled up throughout the day. They got pancakes, they got smoothies, they got more. Discover a wide variety of easy options for the entire day. breakfast, midday bites, and much, much more. Sign up and save. We've actually done the math here. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. I love it, particularly for the middle of the day. I can't tell you how many times when I'm out of Factor, I open the fridge door and I'm like, shit, what am I going to eat? When Factor's in there, I feel better and my day improves. So head on over to factormeals.com/today50 and use that code today50. You're going to get 50% off. That's the code today50 at factormeals.com/today50. You'll be saving half your dough. Enjoy the meals. Before we get out of here, 3 really cool moments last night. Shohei in his return out to Angel Stadium. They played a video for him before his first at bat. He had no clue what was going on. He had stepped foot in the batter's box. He's like, what the hell are they doing up there? There was even Mike Trout mouthing the words like, what the hell are we doing here? This is the middle of a game. Can't we do this between innings or something? And he got a nice round of applause. He tipped his cap. That was really cool. You had Pablo Sandoval in what might have been his final time ever wearing a Giants jersey. He gets a knock. He comes out of the game. A guy who has meant so much to that city and that organization said he will accept an assignment at AAA if it is offered to him. And then finally, you had Eric Karros' son come out and pitch. He's a minor leaguer for the Dodgers, and boy, did he light it up. 2 scoreless innings, 4 strikeouts along the way with his old man calling the game on Sportsnet LA. Which one of those 3 moments were you like, yeah, that was freaking awesome?
I'm like all for guys getting their flowers. Congrats to Ohtani and Pablo. And I love that Mike Trout was like, F this, because I told you he's going to win the MVP this year. But it's the Karros family. Are you kidding me? You know what I would do to like be able to be on a Twins broadcast and have Teddy pitching or playing wherever for the Twins? Like I would do a lot of bad things for that to happen. So this one got me choked up a little bit. I'm all about father-son relationships right now, father-kid relationships in general. So that's it for me, C. Rosie.
Yeah. So, I worked with Eric for a long time over at Fox. And so I texted him last night and I was just like, dude, how incredible was that? He's like, Rosie, we've come a long way since we ate ice cream on the road in San Francisco together because I enjoyed tonight even more than that. And boy, we loved our ice cream when we were awesome for Giants games. So just an amazing, amazing moment. I remember meeting his kids when they were 9 or 10, and now they're grown men who are 6'7" and 6'4" or whatever, and making their way through the Dodgers and Rockies places respectively. So it's really, really cool. Quick reminder, get your Factor question of the weekend by Thursday night so we can use it on Friday. We want you to contribute to the show. It's not just our show. It's our show. Also, go get your tickets for Boomtown Brewery in Los Angeles. It's 2 weeks from Friday, April 12th, before the Dodgers play host to the Padres. VIP tickets are already sold out. Go get your general admission for a live first ever edition of Baseball Today, plus a Q&A, plus you can get some pictures with us, the whole deal. We'll hang out. We'll talk to you, the whole deal. So go get those. You can click on the link in the description. Yes, Trevor.
Be there, be square. I'm probably going to post this on my Twitter, but I want to do it live on our show. And Dan, you're going to love this one. Jeter, eat your heart out, baby.
What do we got? Oh, look at you. Look at you.
Let's go, Jeets. I'm in your city, too.
We should have competing cartwheels.
I have a beer with you, Jeets, if you want to. I'm serious.
Do you think he would sit down and have a beer with you?
I think he would love to.
Do you?
Yeah. Get out of the house for a little bit. Little, boys having some beers. We'll talk shop. Come on, man. A couple short stops.
Now, the question is, would you say, hey, I've got Matthew Stafford with me. You want to have a beer? Is that
I would invite Matthew to come, but that wouldn't be a selling point. I don't do stuff like that.
I think it would be. Yeah, got high picks and respective drafts,
Jeter and I, first rounders, shortstops, peers, hot wives. Like, we're doing it. A lot more similarities than you think.
Peers. I like that. Okay. Make fun of our picks, our award winners, and our playoff predictions. Let us have it because we usually suck at that stuff. So we apologize for anybody who has shitty years based on our selections. Here's the deal. Can't wait for opening day. We have a show. We have to tape it today because we want it out early, first thing in the morning on Thursday. Okay. We want you to enjoy it before you sit down and watch all of the baseball that's coming your way throughout the day on Thursday. So we will not be doing a live show on Thursday. We will be doing a live show on Friday, recapping day one, getting you all set for the first weekend of Big League Baseball. We cannot wait. Thank you so much for joining us. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it that you guys have made this live part of the show really awesome for us. So we'll do a better job of getting your comments in here. I'm still working on that a little bit. Okay. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke. And who did it today? Alan did the graphics, Dan? Andrew Allen. Amazing job with the graphic work today. I will never complain about any picture that you use of me. And for the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, who will be doing cartwheels and having a beer with Derek Jeter at some point in the near future, I am Chris Rose. Thank you so much for watching Baseball Today, presented to you by Factor.